Hey, Gavin.
Hey, Louie.
Do your kisses taste like peppers?
Yes, but only you would know.
Do you like to be a woman on top?
Yeah, I'm actually not allowed to do that accent, I think.
I know.
No,
I was like,
yeah.
You're brave. You're brave in there, and
Yeah,
I'll allow. I'll allow
okay, thank you.
The one time. It's fine. It's fine. Well, my kisses are Taco Bell flavored. Actually, it's all
Now
Baja Blast.
is racist. that actually is.
I did a racism on myself, but I like to Baja Blast. Okay, who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
The new one, Midnight, whatever it's called. Midnight Baja.
I've not had it. I was born to run. It's Midnight in the Sun. Whatever. Something.
Yeah.
Miley.
Yeah,
I don't need to be loved by you.
Wow, I didn't know that you were like a Miley purist, completist. You know all these things.
Some of those songs are bangers. I can't help it. Her voice used to annoy me. Doesn't anymore. That nasally.
Wow, she's grown on you. She's grown on you.
She is.
Hey everyone, welcome to Dick's Reviews.
We are a film podcast where we take a film subject such as an actor, director, or a mini genre. We take an entire month. We learn as much as we can. We watch so many movies, and then we take all that information and we shoot it back into your ear holes, and then we tell you what we like and what we don't like.
I don't like ear holes, but moving on. Wait, I can't believe I didn't even ask you. What would your kisses taste like, Kevin?
Oh God, paint thinner. I don't. Arsenic.
Wow.
I don't know.
I
got that
was
poison
thinking-
ivy quality.
Well, that's true. I was thinking maybe it'd be like some sort of fun cocktail because you do love to play little bartendress.
I'm
over there.
currently just drinking blackcurrant cassis, so just maybe black currants.
Girl, what do you mean just black currant cassis? What is that? No one knows what that is. You can't just say that it's normal.
It's an aperitif, okay?
What'd you call me?
Yeah.
But no, yes, we're a film podcast. As Gavin mentioned, we're part of the Glitterjaw family. Love being part of that world. Last episode we had Sheree, the diva herself, on to talk about Uncle Wes. And that was quite the episode. Oh my God.
It was. I've inspired so many people to watch Invitation to Hell, and honestly, you should.
Well, this is what the show is for, baby. Baby, this is what you came for. Okay, we're discovering things. Okay,
I went away to visit my friend Jim, who's getting their MFA in playwriting in Rhode Island, to see their finale play. They're basically their capstone play, which gets fully produced and whatnot. It's great. They're brilliant, and I cannot say enough positive things. But when I returned from Rhode Island, there was a package in my mailbox, and I was like, I didn't order anything. And I opened it up, and sure enough, Chels, our listener and my co-host on the Q Division, sent me a copy of the DVD of Invitation to Hell.
wow.
Yeah.
Chels sent us. I think I have it because did you send it to me or send it to you to give to me?
I believe she sent it to me to give to you. Yeah.
Yeah. A very diva Christmas Carol.
Yes.
So, if anyone else wants to send us DVDs, please do. Just slide into the DMs. We love getting DVDs, Blu-rays, all the content. Love that so much.
We'll send it to a neutral address. You don't need to know our home addresses, but
you can slide into my DMs and I will give you Gavin's address. I don't care.
yes, that's true.
Just kidding. No, but truly that episode was really fun. I cannot believe I was walking this planet without having seen Cursed.
Yeah. And now you have. Now the curse has been passed.
Yeah. So fun, so good. But this episode today here, it's just us. It's just family.
It's family.
Classique recipe. Okay.
Yeah.
And
It's
I'm
you,
so
me,
excited.
and the hilarious Ross Matthews.
Yes.
Just family.
And talk about a woman on top. I mean,
before we get into new business, because I see that was a beautiful transition, and I feel bad that I'm stepping on it. I do have one very small piece of old business, which is not small, I will say, because what it is a 5-star rating left for us on Apple Podcasts, which you can go and do, and it really helps us out. It lets other people listen to the show, expands our reach in audience terms, and it just feels really nice for us. Makes us feel all warm and fuzzy inside. So this is a 5-star review from Ben Rida. It's called So Good, and it says, such a great idea, and the hosts are so fun/easy to listen to. I really like how it feels like eavesdropping on two friends gabbing about movies. And the best part is that it's so perfect for finding new movies from actors or genres I love. The Whodunit is my favorite so far, and a great way to learn about actors I don't know much about.
Well, first of all, I am easy. So thank you for clocking that. Thank you, Ben. That was so nice. I think, like we've said this from day one, like the purpose of the show is to kind of discover new things, like kind of fill in our blind spots, right?
Absolutely.
And yeah, keep on eavesdropping, baby. Like we're gabbing girls.
Brought to you by Amy Sherman Palladino.
Yeah. Oh my God, imagine if only. Whodunits, I do like that episode a lot. And Gavin is very happy that he could bonk me on the head that Scream is a whodunit.
Yes. Well, things change, times change, you had your mind expanded. That's all.
Yes, as proven from our last episode, Wes Craven. We talked about it. But okay, great, lovely. Done with old business now. We can move on to this episode.
Absolutely.
We are talking about truly like a legendary performer, an icon, one of the great beauties, one of the great talents. It is the Miss Penelope Cruz, or Cruz, as she likes to say. Yeah,
Yep.
that's
I saw an interview with her, and the interviewer was like, "We've been saying it wrong," and it's like, no, we actually haven't.
yeah. It's like
We're not Spanish. We're
right,
like, that would be like saying that every Mexican person is saying it wrong too.
right,
Like,
right. We're just not doing it in a
Spanish accent.
Catalan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like it's fine. Like I
Yeah,
think it's
we're
fine.
not Catalan. It's okay.
If people are walking around in the United States saying, "Oh yes, Miss Penelope Cruz," I would punch them in the face.
For the record, what is the correct pronunciation of your name?
Cruz.
Cruz.
With a zeta.
I always think of when Vicky Cristina Barcelona was at the Academy Awards and Nicole Kidman got up there to introduce the like little montage they do about a movie, and she's like, "It's Vicky Cristina Barcelona," and it's like, shut up, Nicole Kidman.
Mess. Oh, girl, it would be like me going to Taco Bell and being like, "I want a gordita, supreme crunch." Like, girl, no. Like, read the room. Know where we are. But anyway, moving on. The icon Penelope, like why did we stumbled upon her because The Bride is out.
Yes.
And she's in The Bride.
She's
but
very
also,
good in The Bride.
I think we were just like excited to kind of like dive into her world. Obviously, we've done an episode about Almodóvar, who she's worked with plenty of times, is one of her muses. But she has such a diverse, vast career. She's been acting since she was like 14 years old, 15 years old.
Yeah.
So
She speaks
long career.
4 languages, which I think,
Yeah.
and that is, even she would say like that's up and down, because like she does speak French, but when she did the French movie that she was in, she had to learn her lines phonetically. Like, but she also, when she first started doing English movies, she had to learn her lines phonetically. But yeah, she speaks French, Italian, Spanish, English. Like, yeah, she's kind of a genius.
yeah, like truly a generational talent. Oscar winner. It's just I'm trying to remember like when did I first notice her or like know who she was. She kind of is one of those actresses that has, for at least for me, just always been around, like always in things. I don't even know what my first movie of hers would have been. I certainly remember watching 9 because I hated that movie, and I
was
remember
gonna say,
thinking,
if you say 9, but
no, I mean, like I obviously knew from before that. I mean,
yeah,
but I remember her from 9 because I was like, I hate this movie, but she's actually really funny in this.
yeah,
But she and this is kind of like a tricky thing that we'll get into later, but she also, for probably at least the 3 generations, is the ideal of the like Latin exotic woman
yes,
who is just like, she's beautiful. She and Hollywood certainly has played into that stereotype and that trope over and over again. She certainly is much more than that. Um, and like she's talked about that and her how she doesn't give a fuck what people think about her and her beauty or whatever. But it's she when you think about like and I think about it just because I'm Mexican, but like, for millennials, it was like Eva Longoria came along and it was kind of like she was the one because she was relegated to like that character in Desperate Housewives and kind
Yeah.
of like horny, sexy, like Latin lady. Um, I know that Penelope Cruz is not Latina; she's Hispanic because she's from Spain. But like
Yes.
she filled in that niche of like
Yeah.
woman who magically knows English, but she has a sexy accent and like you can't place her and like very seductive.
And she
Yeah,
certainly played her fair share of Latina roles, even though she is Hispanic herself. So like,
yeah.
yeah, we kind of do use her for that in
In the
American movies.
in the public imagination for a long time, that's who she was. But I think thinking about her in that way is a disservice because
Yeah.
my God, the body of work is just phenomenal. And there are some really high highs, some really low lows. And I think it's so interesting to like think about like her career in Hollywood versus her career in Spain and in Europe. Um, just so cool. She's so funny. She does dramatic stuff. The musical of it all, like it's. Do you remember like the first movie you saw of her?
I was just looking through filmography and I was trying to figure
You
out.
know, maybe it was Vanilla Sky.
Yeah, I feel like it is, though I did see All About My Mother before I went to college, but Blow and Vanilla Sky are the same year, and so is Captain Corelli's Mandolin, which I did not see until now, but I remember it being in the zeitgeist. And so I think it's probably Blow, Vanilla Sky in
That
that
era.
mix. Yeah,
Yeah, it was like the Y2K millennial. Like she was having a moment like just before 9/11,
yeah.
breaking through into the American mainstream. And then I mean, and I remember certainly like when I discovered Almodóvar and like going through his movies, I was like, oh my God, she is just
Yeah.
a genius. Jesus.
You understand what he sees in her, and you understand that their collaboration is very, I think, helpful to both of them. Like he's very inspired by her, and I think he challenges her
Yeah.
by making her not do the things that everybody else sort of wants out of her.
Yeah.
Though she did do an interview where she was like, Almodovar always casts me as mothers. So
Yes. I mean, yes. I mean, like weird. I mean, talk about. She is mother. She is mother.
yeah,
And a lot of her movies, even without him, she is playing mom. Though I will say, like mostly again, not in the American movies. In the American movies,
Yeah.
they do not want to see her as mom. They want her
No.
as hot girl, exotic girl. And when she's not in the U.S., she is mother. And that's a very interesting thing to think about. But okay, let's get into our rewind and we can talk more. See where she's coming, where she's going.
See if her mothers are parallel. Sorry.
You want to know who is parallel? Me and Miss Penelope. We are both born on April 28th. Also our to fill out that triad of hot, sexy, Hispanic girlies, Jessica Alba. Okay, also in that zone where she was playing, Latina girl, whatever.
Interesting. I thought you were
I
going to say
know.
to finish out that triad, you've also won 3 Goya Awards. And I was like, wow,
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. That's crazy. I'm huge in Spain.
Yeah, very big.
So she was born April 28th, 1974. And what she would describe the outskirts of Madrid. So like kind of like the suburbs, but not suburb, like more country vibes, where it was like a very small community. She said there wasn't like movie theaters, a lot of like things going on. So small town or small portion outside of Madrid.
You didn't say her full name, Penelope Cruz Sanchez.
Sanchez. The accent's on
Sanchez.
the A.
Yep. Yes. Sanchez. Thank you.
Um,
It's Wingardium Leviosa.
hello.
I know we can't reference that anymore. I just
Canceled immediately. Her mom, Encarna, she was a hairdresser. She had a salon. and her dad, Eduardo, he was a car mechanic.
This is all the outskirts of Madrid. The places are very similar from the place where I grew up. And we never had a lot of any extra money. And my parents had to work very hard to raise the three of us. So I know that social class very, very well.
And so she's like a very working class family. She has 2 siblings. She grew up like just immediately. She talks about all the time. She was like, I was a kid with so much energy. I had so much energy. I was always like rambunctious, running around, sweating. And her parents were like, we need to put you into something to like give you purpose.
Chill.
And so, and she also says, she's like, I didn't grow up with anyone in my family, didn't know anybody who was like wanting to be an artist. There was no musicians, no actors, no dancers. Like it was just completely random that I had all this energy and I decided I wanted to go into ballet because she had seen a photograph of this really famous ballet dancer. And so she enrolls into this ballet school and she realizes while she's there, she's not just dancing, but she's performing and she's acting. And she recalls at a very young age, like 4 years old, telling her teacher she wants to play the role of Carmen in the ballet. And the teacher's
Wow.
like, Diva, you are 4 years old. You need to relax. But she loved this idea of performing and putting on these characters and putting the energy that she had into that space. And so she did ballet for 17 years. 9 of those years, she was part of Spain's National Conservatory. She says that the discipline and the hard work that she built up in ballet really informs her work as an actor. She's a very much like a work-focused artist. She's
Yeah.
not kind of loosey-goosey with it. She's like, I want to prepare, I want to do notes, I want to like really be part of she said that she loves the work aspect of it. She loves collaborating, and she loves, being with other people to do the work.
Yeah. We're going to talk about a director later on in this episode because we unfortunately have to, that like doesn't like to do that. And that she said was like difficult to get on his wavelength. Also, when she talks about how ballet like informed her work and whatnot, she's doing that and then turning towards the camera and winking and saying, "Suck it, Timothy."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She's like, I have 3 Oscar nominations, 1 win,
Right.
2 BAFTAs.
How's your Marty? Is it supreme?
Yeah. Fuck off. She says when she was around 10 or 11, she kind of had like a switch just flip because her father bought a Betamax machine. And for folks who might not know, a Betamax was like ancient VHS technology.
Honestly, I was gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna have to correct him because I'm older than him, but correct. Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. Ancient VHS technology.
Yeah. And there in town, there was no theaters, but they did have a video rental store. And her dad was like, here is the membership card, go ham. And so she says that she would watch movies like 20, 30 times, just obsessed with, films. I think she says that she watched Dangerous Liaisons, and she's like, it's a perfect movie. Saw it 10 billion times.
I do that all the time. I get so excited to be in a room with strangers watching and I talk and I comment on everything. People get really annoyed with me when I go to the cinema, but for me, it's such an incredible experience since I was a little girl. And imagine a world where the younger generations or the ones to come don't have that ritual in their lives. We cannot give that up. Nothing compares with watching it there, not at home with 100 interruptions.
And similarly, what happened is at 14 years old, she saw Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down, one of Almodóvar's movies. And she said that this is the era of her lying about her age. She's telling everyone she's 18, 19, 20, maybe, and she's a full 15-year-old.
Of course, I always had to lie about my age. I had to lie to my parents about the content of the script. More than lying or omitting, I just didn't talk about the details.
And she sneaks into this theater and watches the movie and is just like, whoa, like this life-changing.
I love that it is an Almodóvar film that inspired her because that she's just living her dream. And I've seen a bunch of interviews where she sort of talked about how like any thought of being an actor or nominations or anything felt like science fiction. And I've heard her repeat that
Yeah.
sort of over and
Yeah.
over. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that's what this feels like for her, which
Right.
I can't imagine, you know?
Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down always makes me cry. That movie to me is heartbreaking. And the music that Morricone did, and when he takes her there, and at the end they are all singing in the car. And this love story always makes me cry. That's the movie why I wanted to become an actress.
Well, I think it's like this idea of like you're seeing someone do exactly the thing that you want to do, and they're from exactly the place that you're from, and
Yeah.
they're speaking your language. Suddenly, like, they're speaking your language, and she was just like, she would, she tells a story a lot where she was like, I would basically manifest him. I would say, I'm thinking about him. I want to see him. And he would walk in the door, like at bars, at restaurants, at the theater. She also does admit that she like would kind of lightly stalk him. She would go to his house and like stare, through his window. And she was like, I didn't even know that I wanted to work with him at the time. I just wanted to thank him for his work and just like, the beauty that he was putting on the screen. And around this time, she sees at her ballet school an ad for an agent who is doing a casting call. And so she's like, I'm going to go to that. And she goes, and the agent's like, Diva, you're too young. Get out of here. And then she comes back the following week. And basically, she does it 3 times where she comes too young, come back too young. The second time, I believe the agent made her like do a reading of Casablanca, and
Yes.
Penelope Cruz was like, I'm a child. Like, what? I can't be doing. And on the third time request, can I just improvise? Can I just do a scene that I made up? And she does, and that's the moment when this agent, Katrina Bayonas, is like, oh wow, like you have something, and so decides to take her on as a client. That woman is still her agent today. That woman is 80 something years old and is still her agent, has been working with her entire life. And so she starts getting like, through her at 14, 15 years old, is starting to be sent out to go get casting calls. I think this is a funny little bit of trivia. At 15 years old, she's in a music video for a group called Mecano. And from that music video, the director of Jamón Jamón is like, oh, I want her for for my movie. And in that movie is where she fucking meets Javier Bardem, who would come on to be her husband. And so, you know what, divas, sometimes it does pay to be the video vixen, okay? So she's 15 years old, going out on like these casting calls, and she just has it. Like we've
Yeah.
talked about on the show, like there are some people who just have that je ne sais quoi. I think like we talk about like someone like maybe Charlize who just has it, Jennifer Lopez who just has it. Like there are people who just like radiate star quality and star power, and Penelope just has it. It's crazy that she exudes it this much. And her first film is Jamón Jamón in 1991. She is the movie is like kind of like this absurdist magical realism horny soap opera. She plays a teen who becomes pregnant, and
from a rich man's kid, and basically 2 professions in this entire town, which is the ham slaughter factory, and what is the other profession? I can't remember.
They're like shorts.
Underwear. Yeah. They
sell
manufacture underwear.
Yeah. It's kind of a wild ride, and it also like this really sets a template of like not the type, but like there are a lot of I don't know. I think there's something very rock and roll about like watching these movies that she makes in Europe, where it's like sex is not something to titillate per se. It's more about like trying to like be twisted and like profane. And so it's not like, oh my God, how hot is it that like she's got her tits out or whatever. It's more like this kind of fucked up reality of like sex workers and like cheating on people and like the hypocrisy of Christianity and like conservatism.
I was just going to say, so a lot of that comes from just a small history lesson. And actually, I think it would behoove a portion of our audience to go listen to our Almodóvar episode. But you also have to remember, like,
Yeah.
this is Spain coming out of fascism.
Right.
Franco had been in charge of Spain for something like 60 years. And after he dies, there's this huge turn towards a more liberalist sort of ideology. And like you said, it's also a very Catholic nation. And
Yeah.
so a lot of the films are having to reconcile with these Catholic ideals of puritanical nature, sex, and also the like already dealing with the like ruling class of men in a way that certain other countries that we currently reside in still have not reckoned with. And I'm not saying Spain is perfect, but they certainly started a lot sooner working on the whole maybe men aren't right all the time sort of
Yeah.
deal.
I like Jamón Jamón. It's like a very interesting soapy movie. She's not like the main character. She's like
No.
one of, but like it's
But
it's
she's a catalyst, like,
Yeah.
and it is an ensemble movie because there is the mother and there's the boyfriend and there is Javier Bardem and then there's the father as well and then there's Penelope
they're all-
Cruz's mom, like, yeah.
and they're all fucking, and they're all just
yeah.
It's crazy town.
He really fills out those underwear. Like,
It's
there's
cool.
yeah.
Also, they're like doing bullfighting naked. I was like, okay, pointed. Yeah, very pointed. So great reviews. Also, kind of like shocking for someone so young being nude on film.
Yes.
There's a lot of discourse around that,
Including herself. She has since gone back and said that, like, she maybe wasn't really ready for the nudity, but she doesn't regret it because it ends up changing her life. But I can see being that young. I mean, it's a tough decision to decide to do that much nudity in a movie.
and it's not even like just nudity. It's like sex. Like her boyfriend is like sucking on her titties like for a lot of that movie.
Yeah, that's a plot point. It is a plot point.
Famously. But she gets nominated for a Goya Award for Best Actress, so like it's kind of instantaneous. Like this woman knew what she wanted, and I will say her parents. She says that her parents were very much like, "We want you to follow your dreams, but like please keep going to school. Like it's very difficult." Like you said, she says often it was a science fiction to believe that I could become an actress. But somehow or not somehow, it's like she just had the sauce and immediately is like, boom, doing the thing. The same year she is in the movie Belle Epoque. That movie won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film. I did not watch this movie, but Gavin,
I just want to say she's great in it. It's a really good role, and it's a nice contrast to the character Sylvia that she played in Jamón Jamón, where she's like really innocent but also really tough, and just like, no, like, I'm not anybody's prize, I'm not anybody's victim, but also I would like to be chosen.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. She said that doing those two films back to back really showed some range, because in Jamón Jamón she was playing older than she was, and in Belle Epoque she's playing younger than she was. And so one was very serious, the other was kind of silly, and it's those twin performances that catch the eye of none other than Pedro Almodóvar. And she tells this really famous story about how she was drying her hair one day, and also wanted to mention, she talks about how she like snuck onto set of one of his movies and was just like hanging out, and they were like, "Who are you, diva?" And she was like, "Nobody, just hanging out here." But to like really tell you, like, she was furiously trying to just like be in his presence. Finally gets this phone call from him, and she can't believe it. She's like, "You're joking, like that's not Pedro." And they're like, "Yes, diva, it is." And she says almost instantaneously, she was like, "It was like talking to a long lost friend. We just had a connection immediately. he invited me over to. She says it was like a loose casting. She was like, it was just like he wanted to confront me about my age because he like knew I was lying about it. Because he was making at the time Kika, and he was like, well, you're a child, and I like this person needs to be able to play like 25, 30, like
Right.
which is not you. So he was like,
Oh,
so
thank
it's not-
God she sat out Kika, my
Yeah.
least favorite of his films.
Yeah. And so he's like, listen, this is not right for you, but I'm going to write something for you. Don't worry about it. And she's like, like, is that really going to happen? I don't know. She says it's 2 years later. She gets a phone call from him and says, okay, we're ready. And the movie is Live Flesh.
Live Flesh, yeah.
I do want to say though, like, before Live Flesh, because Live Flesh is like what, 1987. In this time, 97. Before this time, like between Belle Epoque and 1997, she is in like other movies. She moves to New York for 2 years because she wants to learn English. She's still dancing,
Right.
like she's just still doing these, but she's doing like all these like European small movies that really aren't like much. So like these are kind of minor movies in her Italian, Spanish realm, and it isn't really until Live Flesh in 1997 that she pops. And it's only he writes her like it's the opening moment of the movie. It's like maybe 8 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And she's a prostitute who's having a baby on the bus. Who is her scene partner? None other than Javier Bardem's mom. Like, what a small little Spanish world it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's so crazy. But it's that movie that then kind of gets the eyes of American filmmakers.
Right.
Like Stephen Frears,
Stephen Frears. I would like to talk about something else that happens in the same year, though, but only as like a real quick thing. She also does Abre los Ojos in the same year, Open Your Eyes, which eventually gets remade as Vanilla Sky with Cameron Crowe, and she plays the same role in Abre los Ojos. I have always said I like Abre los Ojos better. I rewatched it for this. I still like it better, and I know it's going to upset some people in our audience. I know that they really love Vanilla Sky. Vanilla Sky is so pretentious isn't the right word because that implies that I know something Cameron Crowe doesn't, and I do not think that. But it is the like I'm improving on this version, and like I think Abre los Ojos is fine on its own, but the only reason that it maybe doesn't get brought up as much as like her collaborations with Almodóvar is it's kind of a failure, and the only reason that a lot of people know about it is the fact that Tom Cruise saw it. And like during the end credits took out his cell phone, and once again 1997, Tom Cruise having a fucking cell phone, like the billionaire that he was, and immediately bought the rights to remake it.
Wow.
So like that, and so it is because of Vanilla Sky. But yes, but you're right, the doing Live Flesh is what catches the eyes of Stephen Frears.
It's funny, I was like, we've seen and talked about Vanilla Sky before. Why? Cameron Diaz. I was like, we have never talked about Tom Cruise before.
Our famous Jason Lee episode.
Yes, exactly. Stephen Frears is like that little diva. Need her.
I was working in Spain, in France, and in Italy. I put myself on tape and did a couple of scenes. And that's how I got my first American movie. And Stephen Frears came to Madrid after he saw the test. And then he realized that all the English I spoke was the lines that I said on the tape for the character. And how are you, and thank you, and nice to meet you, and that was all. But he was very kind, and he still gave me the part. I spoke very little English, only I was obsessed with working on the dialogue for the character, but then when we had read-throughs or conversations about the characters or rehearsals with the other actors, I had no clue what they were talking about, and that made me furious because I don't like missing, information, and more when I am working. So I remember I used to go into the bathroom and hide and cry and release all that frustration.
He cast her in The High-Low Country. That's her first American Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
Did you watch this?
I did. It's a little you know, it felt like it's a Western, but it felt like the kind of Western that hadn't been made since like the 1950s, and maybe there's a reason for that.
It's the beginning of her. Well, it's not the beginning because she's been playing Italian and
Right.
whatever, but she's playing a Mexican in this movie. And like,
Yes.
I think broadly, I don't know. Is it? Yes, I think it's fine. It is fine. I struggle with this question.
I had to Google if they darkened her skin. It does not appear that they did. She has a natural olive complexion. I guess we should
Yeah.
say that. But I was very nervous because I was like, oh boy, what are they doing? And they didn't, I guess. But they're certainly doing something with her makeup to make her look
It
a
is
little more
it is
swarthy, I suppose.
Yeah, it is strange. I will say, like, it's uncomfortable, and I think
Yeah.
it's okay to acknowledge that. And like, she plays a Brazilian later in
Mhm.
like other movies. So it's like
She plays a Cuban. She plays, and any Latin American is fair game.
yeah, and it is uncomfortable in that like it is uncomfortable in that Hollywood is like there can only be one.
Yeah.
And there can only be one, like not even one Spanish actress, but like one Latin Hispanic actress to play them all. Like
Yeah. Oh, well, that was this is way, way farther in her career. But when I was watching Wasp Network, directed by Olivier Assayas, so a Frenchman, it was like Penelope Cruz, Edgar Ramirez, Gaia Garcia Bernal, Wagner Moura, and they're all playing Cubans. And I was like, huh.
yeah.
Yeah. So like,
yeah. It's uncomfortable, but it only speaks to like the amounts the lack of imagination of Hollywood and like finding talent that is in these countries. There are so many good Mexican actresses, there are so many good Cuban like et cetera, all the things. And that doesn't take away from Penelope's talent. She's so talented, but it is just like it highlights how much work there is to be done in that space for all Hispanic and Latino performers in Hollywood. So there's that kind of blanket statement. I think like what's funny is that is like the beginning of her Hollywood moment, but she still is doing a lot of work in Europe. High-Low Country doesn't really do much. It just is.
Yeah.
And he says, Les Berg is gonna kill people.
No, I'm gonna have to kill Les.
Tontería.
What?
Nothing.
What did you just say?
That's a stupid thing to say, Pete.
Well, God damn it, he's my best friend. And there ain't nothing I wouldn't do for him.
Pete, your friend is stealing a man's wife.
Then you don't understand what to feel.
What really is like the thing, like 2 years later, or let's first of all, in 1998, she does do The Girl of Your Dreams, which I think is like an important place to kind of.
Yeah, I think
that.
that's her first big leading role. Like she's not necessarily really anybody's love interest. She's not like that is a movie that's like based around, and even though it is an ensemble, like she is clearly the lead in that movie. That is a movie in which it's about a bunch of Spanish actors who are sent by Franco's regime to go to Nazi Germany to make films. I didn't love this. I thought it was kind of slight in terms of its politics. Yeah, it was like very clearly anti-fascist, but like as the world should be. But I thought it was like too light on the fact that it was like very much involved like during the genocide and whatnot. She'll revisit this character later. A lot of them will from this movie. We'll probably talk about the sequel in a bit, but I did not love The Girl of Your Dreams. I like the look of it, but I was not impressed by it overall.
It really isn't until 1999 and All About My Mother, another Almodóvar flick, where and again, it's just like when you think about the roles that she's getting in the US at this time and then the roles she's getting in Europe at this time are just like night and day. It's not in the US, it's like kind of girlfriend, exotic girl.
Right.
And then
in Spain, she's playing a pregnant nun who's dying of AIDS.
Yeah. Like, I mean, even Girl of Your Dreams, it's like she's playing this actress who's playing like the queen.
Yeah.
And so it's like there's just so much more for her to do. I love All About My Mother. I
Oh my
think
God.
it's genius. One of Almodóvar's best movies. The ensemble is just so pitch perfect. Um, if you want to hear more about it, check out our Almodóvar episode. But I will. She's not like the lead in this at all. But
Yeah.
her character is really important, and she's really good in it.
That's when we started this episode, because Dan, my husband, is a big Almodóvar fan, and by extension a Penelope Cruz fan. And so I was like, well, what do you think? And he instantly named the Almodóvar film, but he's like, she's great and All About My Mother, but it's not her
No.
movie. And I was like, you're right. And I would love to have rewatched it for this, because it is endlessly rewatchable. But I was like, I got a
Yeah.
limited amount of time. I have to
Yeah.
prioritize some other things.
I did watch The Man with His Rain in His Shoes, also known as Twice Upon a Yesterday or some shit.
Can I pull back the curtain just a tiny bit? So Louis and I we purposely try not to talk about these movies with each other, just so we don't sort of influence each other, because that part of the game is finding out, what's 5-star reviews and 1-star review, which is not to say that we like are adamant that we not discuss it. And Louis texted me at one point just to be like, don't watch this movie.
Yeah, well, I was like, I will say there are a lot of her movies are on Tubi and Pluto TV, which is great. We love accessibility, but I was like watching this, I was like, where the fuck is she? She hasn't come out here yet, and she's like very late in the game in the movie. Also, just like same year as All About My Mother, and this is a good example. She's playing like a love interest.
Was it written by a man?
I bet your bottom dollar was. In 2000, she does All the Pretty Horses, which is like Matt Damon as a Texan, LOL.
Yeah.
I perfectly fine TBS movie is what I'll say.
Well, the thing about that, it is a famously long story, and we'd probably go into it if this was a Billy Bob Thornton episode, but essentially the Cliff's Notes version is Billy Bob Thornton directed it. He did a 3-hour assembly cut, which, by the way, assembly cuts are not really meant to be seen, but he was adamant that most of that stay in. The Weinstein brothers produced it. They were like, absolutely the fuck not. We want an hour and a half. And they took it away from him and they cut it down. And I think it's like more towards an hour and 50 minutes and whatnot, but it's a mess. When you watch it, and Matt Damon even did a bunch of interviews where he was like, yeah. And then they advertised it as this great love story between me and Penelope Cruz. And he's like, yeah, exactly. The whole point is the longing. Like the whole thing is the longing. And so it's not a love story at all. And so
I dreamt about you last night.
What'd you dream about?
Someday I may tell you, but not tonight.
It's really not. They
don't have
not, and
chemistry.
No. Also in 2000, she does Woman on Top, which is, I will say, when I saw this, I was like, or when I saw the poster, I was like, oh, this is gonna be bad. This is gonna be really bad. And the whole idea of like her kisses are so spicy, and like watching this movie, it's really fun. It's actually
a lot of fun.
It's actually so much, and you know why? Fucking directed by a woman, written by a woman, and it's like, it's a San Francisco movie. It's about a woman who like wants to break free from like this marriage, and like she's a chef, and
it's very a little bit Babette's Feast, a little bit what was the Sarah Michelle Gellar one? The like
not Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Simply Irresistible, where she's the chef with the magic crab and whatnot, and all the food makes everyone orgasm. It's little elements of that. Very young Wagner Moura also in this, speaking of Wagner Moura, in a very minor role. But also, and this was the part that worried me, Harold Perrineau playing a young trans woman in this movie. But I will say, I actually think it's as sensitive as a portrayal of a trans person was going to be in the year 2000.
But also, I think like he's asking like, oh, I need to find Monica. And they say like a man in a dress, blah, blah. And the operator's like, baby, this is San Francisco. That's normal.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
It does feel like kind of, I don't know. Did you see that RuPaul auditioned for that role?
RuPaul auditioned for that role 3 times.
and didn't get it. Okay,
Nope.
sorry.
And I love Harold Perrineau, so I cannot.
He's so good.
Yeah, I cannot hold it against him. And that
No.
run in the 90s between, or like, this and like Romeo and Juliet and whatnot, and like all 50 seasons of Oz or however long it ran. Yeah.
What's up with you?
I don't know. Everything is going so well. And I feel as if the wind is blowing right through me.
Oh, baby. What you feel is lonely. Sweetheart, you need to fall in love again, and fast.
I'm not in the mood for love.
Well, of course you're not. You're out of practice. It takes an effort. Honey, if you don't eat, you don't get hungry.
She is like kind of blowing up a little bit, pun intended, I guess, because in 2001 she's in Blow, the Johnny Depp movie. I'm gonna say that I've never seen this, and I don't want to.
I thought I had seen it. I truly was like, I'm pretty sure I've told people I had seen it before because it came out like right before I went to college, and I don't think I had actually seen it. I watched it, and I liked Ted Demme as a director, and I was like, oh, so it's like Goodfellas, just not good. Like, but it is. But she's cast to play. She plays a character named Martha Young, who is the wife of Johnny Depp's character, who's a white man who gets involved in the Colombian cocaine trade very early on. He starts off selling weed and then gets involved in this. And she's just there to be like I'm spicy, I'm Latin, and like I'm trouble.
We are broke. That's my fucking problem. And you are a fucking spy.
What?
That's right. Always spying, always judging.
Right.
Everyone's laughing at you in your face, you fucking pussy.
Thanks.
You let Diego fuck in the ass.
Right.
Maybe because you like it, maybe because you are a fucking faggot.
Right.
That's what I think you are.
It's funny because during this time, and she's talked about this, she's like, early in my career, I was making 4 or 5 movies a year, going back and forth between, indies, big Hollywood things, Spain, Italy, Hollywood. And like, this is kind of that moment. Like she does Blow, big Hollywood movie. She goes to Spain, does like a small little thing, Don't Tell Me, whatever. She also does 2 other big Hollywood. I mean, 2001 was really the year of Penelope.
Yeah.
She does Captain Corelli's Mandolin with
Nicolas Cage
Nicolas
and
Cage.
Christian Bale,
Huh.
who she goes on to. He's in The Bride as well. So that was the.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And then also Vanilla Sky, the remake of Open Your Eyes. I didn't watch the Mandolin movie, and I barely remember Vanilla Sky, but like, I am gonna take a wild guess that she is just the girly who is inspiring men to do things.
Right. It's so funny. Just to give you an idea of what's expected of her in an American film versus what's expected of her in just a European film. In Open Your Eyes, she's introduced almost shot for shot, same scene. She's introduced to the main character by showing up to his birthday with his best friend and he's like, who's she? And his best friend's like, I found her in the library.
Felicidades y todas esas cosas que se dicen siempre. Gracias. ¿Y esta chica? ¿De dónde la has sacado? De la biblioteca de la escuela. Intentó robarme un libro.
El libro era mío.
And then and then they just meet off of that. Vanilla Sky, he's like, who's she? And he's like, I found her in the library. She was arguing with somebody, and she's like, sorry, your closet's too small for my coat. And it's like a large coat. And it's just like, she's just like, gotta be the spicy, like, it just can't help it.
Happy birthday! And all the usual shit people say to each other. How you doing?
Living the dream, baby, living the dream.
David Ames.
And to what do I owe this pleasure?
The pleasure of Sofia Serrano.
We met today at the library, if you can believe that.
I'm sorry about my coat. It's too big for your closet.
We were both pretending to be intellectuals.
It's amazing. I love your color.
Yeah, it's embarrassing to be an American.
Truly.
2003, she does Gothica, which is kind of like a silly Billy movie, but like fun at least. Like at least she's not just in service of a man.
With former subject of Halle Berry.
Yes, 100%.
She also just, real quick, she does Fan Fan Les Tulips, which is a French film. And that's the movie that she had to like learn phonetically how to speak French for. I thought she was cute. Apparently the reviews savaged her. I do think it is really funny. Like almost every review is like, yeah, she speaks French with a Spanish accent. And it's like, well, yeah, she's Spanish. Like,
Well, yes.
and she's not, and she's playing a French character, which is even like, they just didn't adjust for it in the film.
Et alors, à quoi sert la vue si on ne peut plus voir celui qu'on aime? À quoi bon avoir des mains si on ne peut plus caresser? Si l'on ne peut plus le serrer dans ses bras? Et si son parfum n'est plus dans l'air? À quoi bon même respirer?
Arrêtez, vous allez m'attendrir.
Sans amour, vous êtes perdu, Corsini.
But that's a fun, like, swashbuckling movie, and also a movie that hates war. So, like, in a time that we're in, a good message. And then Masked Anonymous is this horrible movie that was co-written by the guy who co-created Seinfeld and Bob Dylan. And it's this, like, bad independent film that's kind of like 1984 about a fascist government, and they want Bob Dylan's character to play one last concert. And the only reason I wanted to talk about this just real quick is because everybody that worked on the movie worked for scale, which if people don't know what that means the lowest possible offer that they can give an actor, just whatever, like, essentially any normal actor would make, no negotiating up or anything, just so they could work with Bob Dylan. And honestly, after watching the movie, I was like, not worth it. Anybody?
No, I know it's crazy because like this, John Goodman, Jeff Bridges, Val Kilmer, Mickey Rourke, Jessica Lange, Luke, and there's like a lot of stars here. But another collab with a former subject, Head in the Clouds with Charlize. She's really just like banging out movies. Nothing's really like moving the needle. I think we might want to stop on 2005 Sahara, just because it is a infamous flop Tina Aguilera. I'd never seen this movie and I saw it for this and I was like, oh, this movie desperately wanted to be like Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Essentially. Like it wanted to be like millennial Indiana Jones vibes. And I will say Matthew McConaughey, very hot. He's, charming. But like, and may I add Steve Zahn, who we will see again later. So hot also. And I like them together. But it's just a preposterous movie that is like Black people are bad. Like it's crazy.
It's all of it's problematic and like and they really try to interject like political commentary because she's a Red Cross nurse or whatever. Is she Red Cross?
She works for the World Health
Organization. Yes, thank you. And they try and add the layer of like, it's a disease. No, it's not a disease. It's, it's a virus. No, it's actually a poison. And like,
but you can't do this if it's like, we're going to go and the Africans can't help themselves and they're selfish and they're the ones poisoning because whatever. And then making the Black people in this movie like talk shit about them. Like, and then the quote, good Africans will not do anything because they've been hurt too much and it has to be the white people come to save the day. It's like, divas, what is going on here? And frankly, like, I mean, Penelope and Matthew do have chemistry. I will give them that.
Yeah.
But for no reason. Like they added that like kind of love plot, like just because we need the one woman in this movie to end up with our guy. They don't have any moments in the movie where they're actually like kind of flirting because it makes no fucking sense. She's there because like lots of fucking people are dying. This movie wants to have it all, and it's just kind of like really insensitive, silly, and wild. Ugh.
It's very maximalist without any thought of that.
Yeah, that's a good example or word, maximalist.
When this is over, there's a place I know. It's called Monterey.
Never heard of it.
No? Oh. It's got a beautiful beach. Golden sands, aqua blue surf. The place is paradise.
Sounds good.
Oh, yeah. I also happen to know a woman who has a house there. And because she's a workaholic, she's never at home. Now, I haven't asked her, but I'm pretty sure that she wouldn't mind if you dropped by.
Can I bring a friend?
You'd have to ask her.
I already did.
The following year, she does Bandidas with her good friend Salma Hayek, former subject of this podcast.
Early subject.
Early. I remember recording that in my first apartment in New York.
Yeah.
Wild. yeah, this movie's the best part is Steve Zahn like tied up in a bed.
Yeah, and
Like-
and them having their way, like having their way. That makes it sound lurid. It's not really. It's them taking pictures with him, meant to look lurid and whatnot. Yeah, I watched this movie then. I feel like you maybe did not, based the fact that you just
Yeah, maybe I didn't. I don't know, but
the only thing that's interesting in it, so they're good friends in real life, Penelope Cruz and Salma Hayek, and they met very early on in both of their careers. I do think it is really funny that Penelope Cruz plays the Mexican in the movie, and Salma Hayek actually plays the Spaniard in the movie.
Yeah.
And so it's a funny, like, oh, haha, they're not. But yeah, it's not good. I think you wrote in your Letterboxd review that it might be bad for Latinas, like might be problematic for yeah.
Yeah, it might be bad for the culture, like unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I know that they made this wanting it to be good for the culture. Like, of
Yeah.
course they did.
I will also say I like Dwight Yoakam's villain in the movie, and he's shockingly good.
I was like
basically playing
Dwight,
Trent Reznor.
yeah, I was like, Dwight Yoakam, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Good for him.
But like he's doing it real flat, and that can be a huge like gamble, especially if you're a non-actor. But he like it's weirdly pitch perfect for being flat, because he delivers everything with such a distanced, like, that you're like, oh, this guy is fucked up. Like,
yeah, he's a murderer. Same year she does Volver. She's done 7 Almodóvar movies. I don't know what number this one is, but it's huge. This is her first.
This is number 3, I think. I want to say.
I think 3 is right.
Yeah.
And I will say she counts all cameos also. So like, even though
Yeah.
you know she's all like,
And also on top of that, so I watched an interview with her today from way back when, and then also I don't want to point people to where the interview was from, because of the vibes that the host of the interview was giving was like, I have to speak slow and loud because you don't know English, and I was like, ugh. But she brings up in that interview, Volver was her 35th movie at that point.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. She says that there have been 2 movies that Pedro has written for her specifically, like roles that he had in mind for her. This is one of them, and the other one is Parallel Mothers. So Volver, we talk about a lot in that episode as well. Just gorgeous, brilliant, beautiful, breathtaking, funny, dramatic, wonderful.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Everything.
Everything. I want to pause really quickly on Matador's Mistress, also known as Manolete, also known as The Passion Within, also known as Blood and Passion. Adrian Brody, like what? Why
What's
does that
wrong
man
with him? No.
why does that man have 2 Oscars? Like, what is? It's so weird. It's so weird to me. That movie stinks. Like, it's so
Yeah.
crazy it's really hard to go from like Volver to this, where it's like, and we're back to like her just being a girly, like.
And also, it's one of those things, we have a tendency on this show, when somebody's really good at generating chemistry, to be like, this person can have chemistry with anyone. I don't think that's true with Penelope Cruz, because we've seen it a couple times where she doesn't. And that,
Yeah.
like I said before, she did with Matthew McConaughey, but there was a person before that we mentioned that she didn't. She doesn't have it with Nicolas Cage in Captain Corelli's Mandolin, and she certainly does not have it with Adrian Brody. And yeah, that movie was shot and then sat on a shelf for like 3 years, like, because they knew nobody
can
wanted to see
tell.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell. Do you want to talk about The Good Night? I know you watched The Good Night.
Only to say that it's bad man nonsense.
In 2008, she does 2 movies, Elegy and Vicky Cristina Barcelona, which it kind of feels like this is like a high-minded film year for her.
Yeah.
Uh,
2 movies weirdly in conversation with each other without trying.
Yeah, I will say that I didn't particularly like either of them. I thought they were both medium fine. I never seen either before. Elegy, I was like, I just can't with movies about dudes fucking their students.
Right. Okay. And I'll push back on this a little bit, because I did text you about Elegy when we were texting about movies to watch and not to watch. It's directed by Isabel Cosette, who is very popular in France, but is in fact a Spanish filmmaker. It's Isabel Cosette Castillo is her full name. And I I think it's rare to have a movie this male-centered that fully acknowledges how bad the main character is. And I want to give her props for that. And I want to give props to the screenplay writer, Nicholas Meyer. And admittedly, I did not know it was written by Nicholas Meyer until the end, but I have a soft spot for him because he is the man who wrote and directed Star Trek 2, wrote Star Trek 4, wrote and directed Star Trek 6, like saved the franchise.
Wow.
But I was a little shocked that it was such a movie in tune with the idea that like men are bad and are instructed to be bad, and a lot of it comes from not being able to be in touch with their emotions. I found particularly moving, not so much to do with Penelope Cruz, though she's great in the movie. There's a scene where Ben Kingsley visits his dying friend, played by Dennis Hopper, and as Dennis Hopper is dying, he kisses him. He felt like as an act of intimacy, but not a sexual act, but like just like and he has this moment where he goes and he talks to
Debbie Harry,
who is Dennis Hopper's wife, and he's like, oh, I basically like around the lines of like, I think he thought I was you during it, and she's kind of like, no, like don't like you don't get it, like he's trying to like make you open as a human being. I was particularly moved by this movie, but I understand because I think it's very easy to watch it and be like, no, men suck, like because the movie also does take that stance. To bring it back to Penelope Cruz, she said in on her Actors on Actors with Benedict Cumberbatch that she learned the most from Ben Kingsley in terms of like acting and like the way that he like holds himself and the way that he instructs, you know, what he's going to do with his character. And I think that's fascinating because once again, we're over a decade into her career. We're like a decade and a half into her career.
Yeah.
And she's like still feeling she's learning from her co-stars.
You know who was my teacher? The main teacher that I've had in my life about this was Ben Kingsley. Because when I worked with him in Elegy, if we were in the middle of a very emotional, very difficult scene, and I would get mad if something, like there was a noise or something, like we'd have to stop the take. And he would look at me, and with no words, just with his actions, the inspiration of just really include whatever happened into the scene. We all know the theory of that, but let's do it. Let's try it, with a smile on his face. And it was the most inspiring person that I've worked with that in those terms, because I'm such a control freak, and that is like number one enemy of acting. It's such a lesson every day, and he was a true master of that for me, a true inspiration.
Oh yeah, and she says to this day, she's like, the best part of this is learning. I always want to be a student. Like just to kind of pick it up. I mean, Vicky Cristina Barcelona is important. She won the Oscar for this. If you don't know, it's kind of like her, Javier Bardem.
Did we mention that she got an Oscar nomination for Voltaire as well too?
Oh, sorry, did not.
Yeah.
Voltaire, also an Oscar nomination for Voltaire.
Yeah, her first Oscar nomination, Voltaire, and that's important just because she was the first Spanish person to be nominated for an Academy Award, and on top of that, to this day, is still, because of Vicky Cristina Barcelona, the only Spanish woman to have won an Oscar.
Yeah, and so the movie is about like two American divas who come to Spain, and like one's like slutty and one's not. And but then they both end up falling in love with Javier Bardem, because of course.
This is just like the time that you and I went to Spain and we both fell in love with Javier Bardem.
Yeah. It's so crazy. This movie is about us. Javier Bardem has a ex though, and she is a little bit mentally unwell.
Yeah.
And that is Penelope's character. And antics ensue.
You speak no Spanish?
No, I studied Chinese.
Chinese? Why?
I thought it sounded pretty.
Say something in Chinese.
Me? Ni hao ma?
You think that sounds pretty?
Well, maybe not the way I'm pronouncing it, of course, but...
A mí el chino me suena de lo más estridente, vamos, te taladra el cerebro.
Speak English, Marlena.
No los has visto en las cocinas de los restaurantes. Lo más desagradable.
Marlena, basta.
I just don't get it. Honestly, this is a Woody Allen movie, so it's very
Yeah.
talky. This is also, you were mentioning, he's someone who just does not give a fuck about preparation.
Right. He doesn't talk to his actors, and she's like, I drove him crazy because I want to rehearse, I want to talk. And I asked him, like, why doesn't he talk to his actors? And he's like, because they're going to ask me questions that I don't have answers for and whatnot. Also, he let them, for his being a kind of word perfect guy that he is in terms of his script, he let both her and Javier Bardem rewrite their dialogue when it came to the Spanish.
Woody Allen gave me a lot of freedom, and of course you don't want to change any word, any comma that was written by Woody Allen. But for Vicky Cristina Barcelona, he sent it to us in English, and he gave us permission to do our own translation because there was another translation that we didn't really like, and he said, okay, throw it away and translate it and speak the way your character would say these lines. So that's what we did.
But yeah, we have a sort of unstated rule. We've stated it a couple times on the mixed reviews where we say no new Woody Allen. And luckily I had seen this before, so I was like, I'll rewatch it. And I think it's fine. I agree with you. Like I especially now, especially looking at it with 2026 eyes and seeing it almost 20 years ago, I'm like, yeah, maybe I don't get. But the thought I kept thinking to myself was, because there's an omnipresent male narrator, I was like, what if this was narrated by a woman? Like, what would it be like?
I just think like there's broadly this idea of like these women who are like figuring themselves out sexually, which fucking Woody Allen loves fucking like I just don't. So yes, maybe if there's a woman behind it, but also even the performance that Penelope's giving, I'm like, to me, all of his worlds are very kind of just like heightened and unreal. And so to me, it comes off just very like flat, where it's like these two Spanish people who are in their own world fighting over their crazy, quote unquote, love, because like she's gonna shoot him, and like it's just, to me, like it's like a cheap knockoff Xerox version of the European movies that she is making, where she is complicated, complex characters, where it's not just like they're going crazy, but they're nuanced and have a lot going on. I don't want to detract from like her win, because great, I love that she has an Oscar, but like she has so many other movies where I'm like, what? This?
Right. And unfortunately, once again, this is the role that Hollywood wants from her.
Right.
So that's the other piece of this that feels kind of gross, is that it's like, oh, she's just having to play to what people expect from her.
It's not going to be 45 seconds. I can say that right now. Has anybody ever fainted here? Because I might be the first one. Thank you so much to the Academy. I want to share this with my fellow nominees and with the amazing ensemble of actors that I had the privilege to work with in this movie. And I cannot talk about great female characters without thanking my friend Pedro Almodóvar for having made me part of so many of his adventures.
The next year, she does Broken Embraces, another Almodóvar movie. She also does Nine, her first only musical, I think, so far. We talked about how we both hit that movie. But she got an Oscar nom for it. The only nomination for this movie was for her. And as I rewatched, I was like, you know what? The set pieces are fun, but like you can't just string together set pieces and call it a movie. Like,
well, that was the one thing that struck me, because I rewatched it for this and I saw it in the theater, is, and once again, this doesn't have much to do with Penelope Cruz, is that I guess the Kate Hudson character doesn't exist in the musical. That's the original character they wrote and the movie created her so you will judge her as like, oh, she doesn't understand art. She doesn't know. She likes all the surface stuff. And they write her a song where she says Guido 9,000 times. And I was like, but that's what this movie is. This movie is the Kate Hudson to the 9.5 that is the actual movie that already exists. And I was like, huh. I was like, you want us to make fun of you. Like,
I will say Penelope is very funny in this movie.
Yes.
When she's playing like the mistress character and she's like in the hotel, she's like, fine, I will stay here with my legs open, waiting for you. Like, it's funny. She does, I mean, by this point, she's done literally everything. She does blockbusters. She's in the Pirates. She joins the Pirates of the Caribbean for a movie. She's throwing her weight around to do more kooky booky European stuff. Twice Born in 2012 with good old Emile Hirsch. What a movie.
I believe the punctuation of that sentence was missing. It was like, what? Question mark. A movie?
A movie?
Question mark?
Yeah, a Hallmark war movie, I guess,
Oh,
but
boy.
make it Italian or like Eastern European. Very bizarre movie.
Set during the Bosnian War and just
Yeah. She has a tip spot and I'm So Excited, another Almodóvar movie. She's another Cameron Diaz collab in The Counselor.
she plays like the one angel amongst all the demons in The Counselor, but I refuse to rewatch that movie because I saw it in the theater and hated it. And I know people are like, no, it's better on a rewatch, and I'm like, I don't have time, I'm dying. So like, but yeah, that's the one thing I remember is that she's like the one good person.
In 2015, I think this is an important movie to talk about Mama, and she produced this movie.
Yeah.
And you can kind of feel how personal this movie is to her. And this is, again, like she plays a mother. She plays a mother in Twice Born. She plays a mother in a lot of the Almodóvar movies. I think all of the Almodóvar movies.
Yeah.
In this movie, she plays a woman who is her husband is separated from her. She gets diagnosed with breast cancer. The title of the film is a pun because Mama is also your breast.
Your breast.
And so, but she's also a mother.
It pays to be a Rigoberta Bandini fan, and that's for our Spanish audience, if you know what I'm talking about. Thank you.
I quite like this movie. I was the way I was crying at the end of it. It's a very she has a relationship with a man who gets very horrible news that his wife and daughter are in an accident.
On the day they meet too, so it's like
on the day they meet,
traumatic. Yeah.
And he's like a scout for a soccer team, and her son loves playing soccer.
Yeah, isn't it Real Madrid, or is it? Am I?
It might be.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm not straight, so I don't.
Yeah.
like
Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like they form a connection and bond. She also has a really I was just thinking like, man, do people have these connections with their doctors? I hope.
I know. I was actually I'm less hot on this movie. I don't think it's bad. I will not say it's bad, but I was less hot on this movie, and one of the things that put me off was I was like, this doctor, like this, you need to go, buddy. Like
I was so into it. I was like, I'm the way Americans interact with our doctors is very fucking horrible.
I agree. And trust me, as a person who currently has a doctor who says I should be eating only one meal a day, yeah, trust me, our doctors are fucked up.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But I loved the doctor's maybe on his own journey of like becoming a father, and there's just like these, and the doctor also like is a singer. Like I don't know, it all worked for me in this weird kind of like magical realism. Lovely love letter to life. Like he's like, live, breathe, like have fun, laugh. Like it's just yeah, I really enjoyed it. And again, she's so good with the cancer and getting her breast removed. She has a mastectomy,
and she is very good in this movie.
But anyway, I think Mama is worth a watch. Like, and it'd be interesting. I would love to hear. Like, this is one of those movies where it's like the discourse is part of the movie, and I do think she's really good. She does a tip spot in Zoolander 2 as Valentina Valencia.
I did not. This was one of the ones I ended up skipping, and part of me is like, maybe I should have watched it. Did you watch it at all, or?
I mean, I didn't rewatch it. But the thing is, she is funny, and she's so unself-conscious about what people think. She loves taking the piss, right? Like she's like, I know what you fucking think about me. You think I'm just like a pretty face.
And she was like sought out for that role. It's not like because she was a fan of the original, so they were like,
yeah. She The Queen of Spain, which is a sequel to The Girl of Your Dreams. All those actors came back for this sequel.
I will say I liked the sequel better than the original, and I think part of it is they took them. It's also set 20 years after, and she's since become a Hollywood star. But I think fully removing it from the Holocaust makes it more palatable, because then the hijinks feel a little less like we're having hijinks, and also people are dying in concentration camps. And I know the guy that wrote the original had a big problem with it because he did not feel that he was compensated enough for the sequel or informed about it. But I think she's just become such a better actor. She's so good in The Queen of Spain. It's not an amazing, life-changing movie, but I enjoyed it more than the first one.
Also, like, weird, like, gay stuff happening here.
Yeah, there is absolutely a rape in it. And I was like, huh.
Yeah. 2017, she teams up with now husband, Javier Bardem for Loving Pablo, also known as Escobar. She also does Murder on the Orient Express. Like, minor entries, I would say, for her. To me, Pain and Glory in 2019 is like the next like big real moment. We talked about this a lot in the last episode about Almodóvar. This movie fucking rules. It's so good. She's so good. She's basically playing Almodóvar's mom. She talks about how she did meet her like a long time ago. By the time this movie was made, Pedro's mom has died. And she says, I wasn't trying to imitate her. I wasn't trying to look like her. I just knew I had her essence.
That was an honor because it was playing his mother, and I met his mother many, many years ago, and she was crying when we were talking, sharing with me how she felt when Pedro told her that he was gonna quit his job at the telephone company, and she thought that was the worst idea because he had a safe job and now he was gonna risk everything. She was telling me that, like, crying because he was receiving a very important award that day, and she was very emotional. And I feel that that conversation with Pedro's mother gave me all the tools that I needed to, so many years later, play her in a film.
And Pedro, for as long as I've worked with him, has seen me as a mother. The first movie we see her in with Pedro, she's giving birth to a child. And so he has always seen, and he, as much as she is amused to him, he has so much interest in mothers and motherhood and that dynamic. And so it's such a full circle moment for, like, she's now playing literally, or I guess not literally, but like kind of, his mom in this movie with Antonio Banderas. I think this movie is stunning.
Oh my God, it's the best. I mean, this was not only our joint 5-star review, I think, with Antonio Banderas, it's also in the Mixed Reviews Hall of Fame, along with four other prestigious films. That someday there will be more films added to the Hall of Fame, but currently it's one of the 5.
She does Wasp Network. That's like a fully Netflix movie, right?
Yeah, and that's the Olivier Assayas movie about the group of Cuban spies. And like I said, it's literally all just like Mexican and Spanish and Brazilians all working together to play Cubans.
2 years later, she does Parallel Mothers. So thus far, her final Almodóvar movie. She said, she's like, I've done 7, and hopefully that's the beginning of, many, many more. So she wants to do more.
And it's fully a story that he had told her years ago. And then during the pandemic, he was like, I started writing it, and like I'm writing it for you. So
yeah, that movie is again another like kind of really intense, soapy, twisted, beautiful movie.
She said she really dug into this role specifically, and she also said it really helped that he shot it in chronological order. But she really wanted to understand how somebody could bring themselves to lie like that and whatnot. And she found that so fascinating. And it's a great movie as well too.
Yeah, not nearly as candy coated as his other movies, but like he's almost like maturing, I think. Like there's this new phase of his films that are not as kind of like bonk you over the head with like all the like maximalist stuff he used to do. Still great though. She also does Official Competition, which is kind of like in the same universe. It's It's not a Pedro film, but it is in the same universe. It's like, again, like she kind of thrives in these black comedies where she's like deadpan humor, um uh and pairs up again with
Antonio Banderas.
Antonio Banderas. Yeah.
Who she literally, even though they're both in the Almodóvar orbit, had only been in that opening scene of I'm So
Yeah.
Excited together before. So this was a chance for them to really act together. This is a film directed by Gaston Duprat and Mariano Cohn. And it's Penelope Cruz, Antonio Banderas, and Oscar Martinez. And she plays like an insane film director who has cast a big budget movie star, basically like a Tom Cruise, and like a really well respected stage actor who's also done some movies, but like mostly stage guy, to play brothers in this movie called Rivalry. And she, like, they all just put each other through hell, but she's clearly she's a monster. She like believes art is like more, but I think my favorite stuff in it is that even the like most pretentious people are also just like human as well. And so there's like that shot of her like trying to learn to floss in her bedroom, like trying to the dance move floss. And I was like, yeah, exactly. Like she, like, for as highfalutin as she thinks she is and thinks about all these deep things,
Right.
she's just like a normal fucking weirdo and whatnot. She
Exactly.
also gets they like gave her freckles and massive amounts of
Hair.
red curly hair.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah, her outfits in the movie killer.
Next, L'Immensità. L'Immensità.
You can just call it The Immensity, if you will.
The Immensity.
Yeah, The Immensity. It's a Italian movie. I loved this movie, and I know it's a
So
little,
good.
it's a little bit what's the word? Because I remember I had a friend once who was like, "Yeah, but you love whimsy. You love whimsical stuff," and that's The Immensity is very that
Whimsy as fuck.
and I loved it. You know, she plays the mother of a trans child in the 70s, trans boy, and then two other children who are, I guess, are just as important. Whatever, they're straight. Who cares? And
to be fair, this child is trans, but they don't really know,
right? Because it's the 70s.
Like,
Yeah,
it's the 70s, and also this child is like 14, 12. Like,
right.
but certainly wants to be called by their given name is Adriana, but they are like, I want you to call me Andrea, and they're like, Diva, no.
I have a really good friend who now lives in Italy whose name is Andrea, and she has to fight to get people to call her that because they're like, no, that's a boy's name, and she's like, I don't care. But yes, and there's like lots of references to 70s Italian culture. There's like fantasy moments in the movie. I don't know. I really loved it, and it's available for free to watch. So
yeah, the opening scene of them just like getting breakfast together and they're singing and dancing.
Yes,
and again, she's playing a mother, and I was like, I can just tell she loves these kids. Like, and even though doesn't understand her child, is like so protective and like loves them so deeply and wants to understand and is trying to. It's just so good. It's a little bit tough. There is some domestic violence stuff in this movie.
Yeah. But I also did appreciate, because there's a lot of these movies that are like, and then mom got sad and there's no reason. And I like that this movie was like, bitch, there is a reason sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes
And
it's because the husband's fucking horrible. And like,
yeah. And I will say, she comes back, baby.
Yeah.
She gets the help she needs and comes back. Great movie. She does Ferrari in 2023, which is kind of a big deal.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then, you know, kind of like The Bride is the last thing, right? Like,
right. She took a couple years off. I think, you know, she has kids now, and I think you're gonna get to that in a moment. But like, she took a couple years off, and so she's been doing sort of just the stuff that she wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, so she's talked about how she's married to Javier Bardem, LOL. And she has had kids, and she's like, listen, I lived in LA for 15 years, and baby, I'm out of there. They now live in Madrid, and they love it. They're like, I can walk around and no one gives a shit. Like, it's chill. And that she doesn't want to be gone, you know. So she's making more movies over there.
I do want to point out, by the way, that she married Javier Bardem after Vicky Cristina Barcelona, though, because it's really funny that they met on Jamón Jamón, but
Yeah.
literally didn't reconnect until they did. And they'd
Right.
also done live Flesh together, but they're not in any scenes together. So
Yeah.
like,
Right. It wasn't until 2007 when they sort of were filming for Vicky Cristina Barcelona. And yeah, then they get married. They have a son, Leo, and they have a daughter, Luna. Um, and yeah, they live in Madrid, and they like she talks about like, we'll make a movie together like once every 5 years, whatever. Like, she also talks a lot about how she's been very empowered since she's been doing this for so long to say no to projects she's on to. She's like, I've passed up a lot of big movies and a lot of money because
yeah,
I just don't want to. I don't want to be out shooting on locations far away from my family that often. And also, I mean, like Javier is a very successful Oscar winner in his own right, like, doing stuff. And so I love them together. They're so fucking badass, rock and roll. Um, Beautiful people, outspoken for, all these I mean, Javier was just the Oscars, was the only fucking one who was like, war is bad, guys.
yeah,
Hello,
exactly,
Palestine,
exactly.
Ukraine, like all the things. She's Penelope herself has worked and donated so much money, so much of her time. She's worked in Nepal, she's volunteered in Uganda and India. She met with Mother Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
Hello? Assisted in a leprosy clinic. She, was inspired to start a foundation to help support homeless girls in India. Um, she donated her salary from the high-low country to Mother Teresa's mission.
She's also a big International AIDS Day.
Yeah.
She's behind, like she lit up the Empire State Building in 2010, red for World AIDS Day, and she's like she works on the project that was an AIDS-free generation is due in 2015. Obviously, we didn't achieve that, but that's one of the things that she was, working towards.
Yeah, because I mean, her character in All About My Mother has HIV,
Yes.
and I think, and she's talked a lot about like, I mean, one thing that, I mean, she's had so many films, so we're trying to burn through them, but like, I think a lot of the success of the movies that she does, uh, when she's a mother, when she's like these complicated characters, she talks about like the empathy. Like, how can you not empathize with these women? Boo Ferrari, but she talks about how like people were like, oh, she was a bitch. She,
Yeah.
whatever, and she's like, that woman had to deal with so much. Are you kidding me? Like, and
And
so
I didn't say this while I was booing Ferrari, but like my initial review of Ferrari when I saw it years ago was every moment Penelope Cruz was not on screen, I kept wondering, where is Penelope Cruz?
yeah,
So like, yeah.
yeah, and she's the empathy she has for others. I think it is a testament to her as a human being to be like, I give absolutely no fucks about how beautiful I am. And I want to be in these movies that speak truth and, are welcoming of others. Like, she could have just been like, I'm fucking off to Hollywood and doing just this. I don't have to be in the weird gay movies in Spain.
Yeah.
But guess what? Like, she loves that shit. And I love she's talked about how like the that it was very confusing to be very famous very young, and the high you get of fame is intoxicating and could be very damaging. And so she had to learn very early on, like, this can go away at any time, and I cannot count on this, and this cannot be the reason why I'm doing this. I think in the movies that she's so successful and you can see that, and like then she's doing these challenging movies. God, I just love her so much. But we can wax poetic forever. So, but instead of doing that, why don't we get into our picks, and let's start off with our 1-star reviews. Oh my God, this is hard.
This is hard, but also easy. I know that sounds mean, but I just there was one movie I saw that like is, and I saw some other bad ones, but there was one specific one that I saw that as soon as I finished, I was like, found it. I was like, 100%, there can't be something worse than this.
Okay,
Do
so
you want
Gavin,
me to
what's
say
your
what
one
it
star?
is?
Yeah, Gavin, what's your 1-star review?
My 1-star review is 2012's Twiceborn. I think Twiceborn is a very, very bad movie. I think it's bad to set a soap opera paternity drama during the Bosnian War, something where many real people actually died. To use it only as a backdrop, to use it to not care about any of the actual chaos and horror that was happening in the war. And then when it finally does attempt to address the war itself, it uses it just to specifically be like the most nightmare scenario, by having and sorry, this is trigger warning for anybody, for sexual assault, by having one of the main characters gang raped by a bunch of soldiers. So this is a movie essentially where she plays an Italian woman, who is she like escaped during the Bosnian War, and years later her Bosnian guide comes back to visit her, and she has this son that she also escaped the war with, and he like she has all these memories of being involved with Emil Hirsch, who's this American who is like a very daredevil-y sort of
Photographer.
photographer during the war, and how they had this like very sweeping love affair, but she couldn't get pregnant. And so then he decides to sleep with another woman, and that woman gets pregnant. She believes the child is Emil Hirsch's child with this woman, and the woman's like, I don't want this baby. So she has the baby. They give it to Penelope Cruz as she leaves the country with it, and then he can't get on the plane with her because his passport's messed up and whatnot. And so she like thinks he dies there, but actually he ended up killing himself. And then her guide, who is reconnected with her, is like, oh, by the way, you should come with me and meet my wife. She brings him back to meet his wife, and it turns out it's the woman who's the biological mother of this child. And Penelope Cruz is like, she wants him back. They have this showdown in the most hilariously misused bit of trivia in a film I've ever seen. When this character is first introduced, she is like, I love to listen to Nirvana all night. And Penelope Cruz has this big monologue about how mad she is. And she's like, and what are you doing? Are you still listening to Nirvana? And the other woman just goes, Kurt Cobain is dead.
Uh-huh.
I really thought you were dead. Or out of your mind, crazy, locked in some place. But here you are, young, beautiful, still having children. Do you still listen to Nirvana? Kurt Cobain is dead. Why didn't you die?
And I laughed. I guffawed. I was like, what the fuck is this movie? It's a bad movie. It's an insensitive movie. And everybody's very not good in it, including Penelope herself. Penelope has to play about 30 years of lived experience. And let me tell you, her old woman is not an informed performance. It's like, oh, I'm an old lady, but I'm still mad. I hated this movie. I hated every second of it. And also, Emil Hirsch, go away.
Yeah, Emil Hirsch, remember him? I will say you forgot to mention that they decide to together they're gonna basically hire this diva to sleep with her to have this baby.
Yes.
Yeah, this movie's like melodrama to the max. War and love and twists on twists on twists. Oh, also, the first time Emil Hirsch and her have sex, I'm like, is he raping her?
Yeah, it was confusing. Yeah.
Because she keeps saying no, and he's just like ripping her clothes off, and they fuck, and I'm like, what is happening? And but then they do play like they're in love. I'm like, I don't. It's uncomfortable.
So this is also based off of I couldn't remember if it was a book or if it's it's a novel. And I was like, is this woman Bosnian? Does she have any like cultural roots? No, she's Italian. No, and her husband is the one that directed it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, it feels to me like a very kind of cliched, obvious like war, love, drama, huge in scope, huge in scale, and like the twist of like, oh, she's actually the mother and they reveal to us that she was gang raped. We don't know that at the time.
Yeah.
Like, and so it's like a big reveal at the end, like actually, and
that's
they
why
make-
she didn't want this kid.
Yeah, and they make Penelope like hug her and be like, I mean, it's a very kind of crazy fucking movie. I watched it and I was like, oh my god, there is so much going on here, and to frame it as like this love story is nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, good pick, Gavin. I went back and forth, but I think I do have to go with 2006's Bandidas. I
don't blame you.
I think there's like there are like little nuggets of things here. This reminded me of like Wild Wild West, like
A lot. And she, in Salma Hayek's in Wild Wild West, so yeah.
Yeah. So this movie is a Western, but like set in Mexico. It was directed by Norwegian directors, Joachim Ronning, I don't know how to say that, sorry, and Espen Sandberg. It was their first movie that they were made together. Co-written by Luc Besson. So a lot of like not Latin, Mexican, Hispanic people at all involved in
International fish.
Yeah,
if you will.
very that. So Penelope Cruz plays this like uneducated, street smart farm girly, and you know the vibe is basically like Mexico gentrified by Americans who want to build their railroads and like steal all the land and force Mexicans out of Mexico. And Salma Hayek plays this kind of fancy upper crusty girly who's been, I think she is Mexican, but they sent her to Spain to like be kind of fancy European girly.
Yes. Yeah.
And she's come back and her dad has a lot of money and a big, whole thing. But the bad Americans who are paying the Mexicans to like clear the space, basically it's like Penelope, poor Mexican, Selma, rich Mexican. They come together to maximize their joint slay against the bad American guys who want to buy out all the land.
Right.
They go do like fight training, robbery training from bank robber Bill Buck, who is, I think it's Sam Shepard.
Yeah.
He literally, this movie's like kind of slapsticky or wants to be like Salma Hayek can't shoot a gun because she sneezes every time she's nervous. And yet he throws her a knife and all of a sudden she's fucking, just
she has bad aim with
bullseye.
a gun, but she has perfect aim with knives. Yeah.
Yeah. She's bullseye, essentially. I think this movie is bad for the culture, and just that like it is exactly what I was saying, like the idealized version of like Latina divas who are just exotic and sexy and using their feminine wiles to like overcome men, and et cetera, et cetera. This movie wants to be girl power. This movie wants to be Latino power, and it's the exact opposite of that. In fact, I think both Selma and Penelope are bad. I think they are wanting desperately to make this like big Hollywood fun for the family flick, and like we're supposed to be laughing at their strangeness and otherness, and it feels gross.
That's a solid point.
Because we're laughing at like their accents and like them in these silly Billy, situations they put them in. And I think in a better hands, this movie would have like, I do want to see these two divas like killing like bad American guys, and like, but like there's a running bit of like them both seducing Steve Zahn and like who's the better kisser, and meanwhile Steve Zahn is fully engaged to like some white bitch back in the UK or whatever, because he's like the one person who's discovered forensics or something, and like and they both do like these acting moments where they're like with Steve Zahn and like they've got their tits out and they're like, oh my husband, like it's just crazy that, and I don't know if what they were thinking, frankly. I certainly know what the fucking Norwegians were thinking.
I guess this is what it feels like, huh? To be married.
Yes. May I ask you a favor?
Of course. It's our wedding day.
Can we lose the horse? It's a little obvious.
Don't distract him. I need him to concentrate. You know what you have to do.
So yeah, unfortunately, just like a complete disaster, misfire. They try and set this up as like a IP brand moment where they're like, well, I guess we have to go steal more banks or something in the future. Yeah, they arrive into the sunset, setting their eyes out on Europe. They're like, maybe we should go to Spain and steal from banks over there. And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, this is not the Shanghai Noon you think it is.
No, absolutely not. Bad.
I also think that's a good pick, Louis. Yeah.
Thank you. Is there anything else that you don't like, Gavin, worth mentioning?
Well, Sahara, I mean, obviously.
Sahara, very bad.
One movie we didn't even talk about is a movie called Noel. You know how I feel about Christmas movies.
Yeah,
but
tough.
It was really tough to get through. Masked and Anonymous, like I said, though not her fault by any way, shape, or form.
I would say Twice Upon a Yesterday. Woof.
Oh yeah, I still didn't watch it. So
woof.
Yeah. There's bad ones in here.
The Matador's Mistress.
Oh yeah. I've mostly blocked that out of my head. So the 355's not bad enough to mention it here, but I still was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But it's tough when your only goal is the like girls can do it too, and it's like, no, don't, like, just make a movie starring women. Like, it doesn't have to be.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, let's get out of here and let's do our 5-star. What do you got, Gavin?
Okay, so I worried when we started this episode. It's funny because we've already announced our next episode, which is going to be about Ethan Hawke as well. But I worried about doing this episode. I was like, for our next 2 episodes, are we just revisiting old stuff? Because we did an Almodóvar episode, we did a Richard Linklater episode for Ethan Hawke. Like, but I can't think of a movie that she's better in, and she's very good in a lot of movies, so I don't want to downplay it. But then Voltaire, there's something about Voltaire itself and the character that she plays in it. She, Voltaire we didn't really mention before, and I'm gonna try and do this as simple as possible because it is actually kind of a twisty, turny film. But she plays a woman whose mother died years ago in a fire. Her and her sister and her daughter, and they visit their aunt who is old and sickly, and there's rumors that her aunt has been being taken care of by the ghost of her mom. And over the course of the film, you find out that her mom actually isn't dead. Her mother basically killed her father and his mistress and ran away. And the town
killed her husband.
Her husband, sorry. Killed her husband, Penelope Cruz's father, and his mistress, and ran away, and basically just started taking care of this aunt as a quote-unquote ghost. And the town's superstitions sort of let this occur. She said she waited for the police and they just never came. And at the same time, you have Penelope Cruz in this sort of loveless marriage with this man who knows he's not the father of her daughter, who then attempts to sexually assault the daughter, and the daughter kills him, and Penelope Cruz covers it up. She's like, first of all, I did it. Like, if anybody asks, I killed him. But she puts his body in a freezer and then eventually disposes of it. So you have this, like, by the way, most of this is a dramedy. Like, it's not all serious, but you have this dramedy about generational trauma and this violence that men brought upon these women, and these women having to take out their revenge, but also the things that it costs them. Her mother, who was played by Carmen Maura, who had been out of Almodóvar's films for 18 years because they had a falling out after Woman on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. She believes that Penelope Cruz's character Ramunda didn't love
Hates her.
Hates her. And it's this really complicated, thorny relationship because that couldn't really be further from the truth. And also, when you find out more stuff as it goes on, because I'm skipping around a lot because I don't want to give the whole plot away. when you find out more stuff that comes along, you realize like they're very similar women actually, and they've done a lot to sacrifice for their child. Yeah, I think one of the most beautiful moments in the movie now, unfortunately, there is a song in this film. Penelope Cruz does not sing it. She lip syncs for her life. And
she slays it.
she
and
does.
She
Oh yeah.
slays it.
Yeah, the other contestant went home. But it's because it is a flamenco song and they wanted a real flamenco singer who could pull it off. And so she practiced and practiced to lip sync it. That scene though, when she sees her mom for the first time, her physical presence, she sees her, funny enough, in the backseat of her sister's car, but through the window, and having to play that emotion because what she thinks she's seeing, because she's being told is a ghost. Is a ghost. And but she plays it with such pathos, and it doesn't hurt that Carmen Maura is also giving 100% in that scene, and it is so heartbreaking and beautiful, and it's tough to watch because even though you know Penelope Cruz is not singing it, she has to portray both this emotion of like seeing this thing that like maybe she's not really seeing, because also the other sidebar, anytime anybody mentions this ghost in this movie, Penelope Cruz instantly thinks that they're going insane because her aunt was in the throes of
Dementia.
Thank you, which I apparently have. And and so she thinks that this is happening to the other people around her as well.
Con la frente marchita, la nieve del tiempo platearon mi sien. Sentir que es un soplo la vida, que 20 años no es nada, que febril la mirada y errante en la sombra te busca y te nombra vivir.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, gorgeous movie. She deserved that Oscar nomination for it. She probably deserved an Oscar win for it. But yeah, I love Volver. That was the first when I was like, what are the Almodóvar movies I should watch? And was talking with Danny. He's like, you need to rewatch Volver. I mean, obviously.
Yeah. The Volver is my pick also.
Oh, is it? Okay. I was like, maybe I'm going on too long, but then I was like, Louis probably picked something else. Like,
no, I mean, like, and this is not disservice to her other very good films.
No,
but like,
she's great.
And it's funny you mentioned like our Hall of Fame. Like this movie might deserve to be up there because it's funny, it's dramatic, it's magical. Like literally, there's this magical kind of sci-fi kind of fiction bending of genre, bending of reality thing that's going on.
But that's the thing is like it's weirdly magical without any actual magic, which is really hard to capture.
Right, they talk about like the eastern winds. The eastern winds blow through here, and it makes people crazy. It makes people believe things that aren't real. It makes people see things, and baby, that wind is blowing at the beginning of the movie. And so like you already know you're in like this kind of other realm, this other possibility of reality. What I love about this movie, everything you said, plus this community of women who are looking out for each other, showing up for each other, supporting each other. She takes over the restaurant, or there's a restaurant, and she takes over, and she's like, "Fuck, I don't have money for food, and I need to make food for this, crew of filmmakers that are coming through."
Yeah.
And she literally just goes to all her friends and is like, "Do you have anything? What can you bring? I'll give you money for it tomorrow, whatever." And the movie goes out of its way to show us a scene where she's like, "I'm going to give you all the money back plus some because you helped me out." And building those relationships where it's then like, "Yeah, divas, I need some help and I don't need you to ask any questions because we just got to go bury something real quick."
Well, I love that scene where she goes and talks to the sex worker, and the sex worker is like, "I didn't know you liked muff diving," and she's like, "I don't," and she's like, "Okay, well, what do you need me for?" But that's it's so funny and so casual.
I think Lola Dueñas, who is also another actress who we see a lot
Lola Dueñas. Oh my
in Pedro's
God.
movie. She's so good in this as a sister. And and it's funny because at the beginning of this movie, she is the first one who discovers the mother, but
Yes.
she thinks it is a ghost. She's like, "Wow, mom, how long are you staying here?"
Yeah.
And and she's like, "Mom, like, are there things that you need to like, reconcile with?" Like, she fully thinks she's talking to a ghost, and it's just so good that this scene of her.
The thing that like gives her away, by the way, like the mother, is the smell of her farts.
Yeah,
Is like, which I think
yeah,
is very funny as well.
yeah. The crying and the singing scene. I mean, it's just like the layers of performance there are just
Yeah.
unreal. And you're right, seeing the moments where she's talking to like her daughter, her sister, her mother. It's just kind of like she's able to the layers here. It's just unreal that what she's able to like kind of excavate from within. And it just kind of is like the most brilliant showcase of her talents.
Yeah.
And again, because there are funny moments of this, and uh, the way she's like talking to all these people, and then the drama of like it never gets into melodrama. Even though
No,
like
yeah.
her husband is dead now, and the revelations that we get later in the movie could easily fall into like that melodramatic place, but it
Yeah.
never gets there. It's
And
just
also this movie, like I think a strong point of this movie is that like and I think this is something that people pick up when they're older as well too, and I feel like I'm getting to the age where I'm picking it up, is a lot of things in life, as ridiculous as it seems, like because you could watch this movie and be like, all this stuff is happening, one time, but like when you get to a certain age, it does feel like it's one thing after another, and it just is, and it's
yeah.
just compounding. And I love that, like, not to give too much away, but like she doesn't even tell her mom about her husband at the end of the movie. There's like a brief moment where she's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I have to tell you about it," but like it's totally left unresolved. But it doesn't fucking matter, like
Yep.
because we just know it's all gonna go on.
There's also, it's worth mentioning, there's the character Agustina, who is the daughter of her mother has gone missing also.
Yeah,
It's revealed that her mother was the mistress. And so like this woman also is like sick, and like so this idea of like the ghost continues on
yeah,
basically. Like she takes care of that woman. There's a lot of uh, while we're recording this, the Cesar Chavez news has just come out, which is a lot
yeah,
about reckoning with the past. This movie is a
yeah,
lot about reckoning with the past and
yeah,
how you can bring justice to your community, your family, and how it is a good thing. It is a painful thing, but it is a good thing. And that one kind of struck me, through the lens of like learning that news and then watching this, and it's like, wow, there are painful things in our past, and the conversation Penelope has with her mother about why their relationship was so complicated. It's fucking horrible, fucking just like the worst. And but it is healing for both of them in ways that I think sometimes we think it's like better. And Parallel Mothers is also about this, where it's like it's better to just move on, not look at the past. And in that movie, there's a really great scene where fucking Penelope is like, "That's how I know you're young and an idiot." Okay,
yeah.
like there are people's bodies who are desecrated and need to be, properly buried and have closure. And I'm like, yeah, girl, yeah, diva. Like sins of the father, like it is a good thing to reckon with those things. So yeah, fuck Volver, very, very good. Other things that
Oh,
you think were worthy.
real quick before we get out, and I know you want to get out of that. Also, just a funny side note that has very little to do with any of this. She wore a fake butt for Volver, because Almodóvar said, as you mentioned, it's set in the La Mancha region of Spain, and like that's where he grew up, and he said like women just don't look like Penelope Cruz there unless they've got a big ass, and so they made her wear a fake butt. And apparently there was a Spanish SNL. It lasted one season in 2009, and one of their big parodies was her getting nominated at the Academy Awards for wearing a fake butt. And I was like, that's why it
Wow.
was only one season.
The specificity of that.
Yes.
It's so funny. It reminds me that she talks about how like she grew up in her mom's salon, and just like she learned so much there by listening to all the women who were coming in and out of the salon. And I can imagine Raimunda coming from that lineage.
Yes, absolutely. But yes, was there anything else that you saw that you particularly liked?
I think The Immensity, very good.
The Immensity is very much up there for me.
All About My Mother, when she's so young.
I know.
So good.
I would even put in, even though it's not really her movie, though she's just such a big part of it, Broken Embraces. And once again, I don't want to make this fully Almodóvar, but she's as Magdalena in that movie. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say Woman on Top. Woman on Top is a very good example of like the movie itself is about how this random chef diva is so good, and she has a cooking show and she's so magnetic. I'm like, yeah, and you need someone exactly like Penelope Cruz who does have it and can just be so magnetic. And it's like her whole little her like tagline of like the final and most important step is sharing it with someone you love. And like people are just so charmed by her. And I'm like, yeah. And the movie does a really good job of showcasing her talents in that way. A non-Pedro movie for you there.
Belle Epoque, which is dated but fun. I would also, it's a good movie. Like I got a little nervous when I started watching it. I was like, and then I was like, oh no, I understand why this won the Academy Award.
She has such a, sorry, Pain and Glory, like
oh yeah. Yeah.
Simply Must. Do you have thoughts about Parallel Mothers?
Oh, I like it a lot. I do really like it a lot. I also, Parallel Mothers is interesting to me too, because during that time period, Almodóvar, I think I mentioned this in our episode, had produced a documentary about like uncovered mass graves in Spain during the Franco era. And so I like that he then carried that into this movie.
Yeah, and it's like the first time he's like specifically called out like the Franco like dictatorship.
Yes. But I like Parallel Mothers a lot, and I do think she does a really good. Those scenes towards the beginning when she's in the hospital with the other women too, when she's like just trying to be friends and whatnot. Like, oh yeah, no, I like that movie a lot.
Bisexual Chaos, your favorite.
I do love Bisexual Chaos. The name of that movie, the name of that documentary, by the way, is The Silence of Others. So that is a very good movie to check out. He's an executive producer on it.
Hell yeah. Before we get out of here, let's do our mixed reviews review.
My 1-star review was 2012's Twice Born.
My 1-star review is 2006's Bandidas.
And my 5-star review was 2006's Volver.
As was mine. I was having a very 2006 vibe today.
You really were.
All right, Gavin, let's get into our fast forward.
She's young. She's still so young. That's the crazy thing, right?
Yeah, she's 51 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. She just was in The Bride, which a lot of people hated.
Yes.
But I didn't watch it, but I'm like probably sure that like whatever happened to fun is the vibe.
Yeah. I listen, I wrote a very long Letterboxd review, which is not what I normally do. Normally I do like a 1-sentence snark sort of thing. But I understand. I get it, because it's like tonally all over the place. But I really enjoyed it for the most part. Like I had a lot of fun. I think it's a little like too obvious at points, like literally a scene towards the end where main character screams "Me Too" a bunch of times, and I was like, okay, I know, we know what's happening. But I think that it's so stylish and so interested in like being a love letter to these old monster movies, but also everything that's come since, and being a love letter to like weird 70s movies about the 30s, and I thought Penelope Cruz is very good in it. She plays, so it's her, and she's teamed in the movie with Peter Sarsgaard, who is a detective, and she's like quote unquote his secretary, but she's actually the detective. But women can't be detectives in the 1930s. I will say it's a bit ridiculous. At one point, he like gets injured, and he's like, "I'm gonna retire on the caveat that I can name my replacement." And like he just makes her a detective, and I was like, "That's not how. That's not how it works."
Okay.
You don't just get to make somebody that's not a policeman a detective. But but yeah, I had fun, and I agree. Like the whatever happened to fun is sort of the big
The main
bit of
vibe.
it.
I will say, we didn't mention she's been nominated for 10 billion awards.
Yes,
She's
yeah.
like not just, and we also didn't mention, she very famously was in she's done a little bit of TV. She did the Ryan Murphy presents the Versace.
Yeah.
What is that called? Sorry.
The man who killed Liberty Valance or something. The man who killed Versace. And
Oh, the assassination of Gianni Versace.
yeah, it was the second season of American Crime Story.
And she plays Donatella, and she's so fun. Like I'm obsessed with this woman. Watching her do interviews, she is media trained down. Okay.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm not gonna ever talk shit about anything.
Right. Well, there's a CBS interview where they're like Woody Allen, and she's like, I'm not gonna talk about it. She's like,
Yeah. She's like, who am I to talk about Woody Allen and his shit? Like, I don't give a fuck about
Right.
It's not my business. I'm just I love that she's like, I'm literally an actress. Okay, like whatever that man did, that's not on me. And she's like, yeah, I say no to stuff all the time. I'm not gonna tell you what. And she's like, I had to call Donatella Versace and be like, is it okay if I play this role? And got her blessing. And so yeah, so she's in The Bride right now. But all that to say, like I wanted to bring up Versace just because she can do kind of anything. She
Right.
has said, I saw an interview where she's like, I don't want to do any horror films. Not for me. Not my vibe. And I
Which
said,
is funny
same.
because like Bride kind of is, but it has so many more layers to it, and possibly too many layers. The 1,000-layer cake, and we could have
1,000 layers, yes.
Yeah, but but I do think it's funny that she's like, I don't want to do horror movies, and then like her newest movie that's out right now is a
Kind
horror
of.
adjacent. Yeah.
She has said that she's working on a documentary that she is producing, maybe directing. She has not said what it is about. But she's been teasing it for a while now. Yeah, she's making her directorial debut, and she said it's her passion project. Hasn't said what it is, and she said that last year.
Interesting.
So who knows? I'm excited to see. I mean, it's interesting to see that she's, for her directorial debut, she wants to make a documentary, which I think kind of speaks to like where her mind's at. She's not really interested in like making big splashing movies, or IP. She probably has a cause that really speaks to her, that she wants to shine some light on, which is amazing. And like, listen, the diva can be L'Oreal's spokesperson and get that bag and like produce fucking cool documentaries. Like, I love that. I think like she's talked about how she wants to do another musical, and I think she would
And
do.
she should, yeah. She has the pipes. She also she has a movie coming out this year called The Invite, directed by Olivia Wilde. Like, so she is. I did see like oh yeah, and also she's doing La Bola Negra with the Javis. Hopefully
Los Javis?
Yeah, Los Javis. Hopefully that's still going well since they broke up. Hopefully they completed it. But yeah, like she just is continuing to work with cool people and do cool things. She has said that she wants, she's like, there's so many filmmakers I would love to work with, but like when put on the spot, she's like Scorsese.
Yeah.
And the interviewer was like, I'm surprised you haven't been in one already, actually. But
I'm surprised too. And listen, oh my God, that man is getting old. We need to hurry up on that.
Yeah.
I liked her a lot before, but like doing this episode just really like made me think of like, I'm just in awe of her work and her work ethic, and just like the way she talks about, how she loves preparing and she loves collaborating, and how she's, everyone, the way people talk about her and her body and the way she looks, is okay to say that someone's beautiful, and she is beautiful, but like all of her best work is completely irrelevant to that, like, and what an interesting, diverse career. And the way that, like, I don't think we've maybe talked about anyone on the show before who has such a like contrast of international career, American career, and like how, and she's said now, she's like, I don't want to do anything that's not challenging to me. I don't want to do anything that's not like new, interesting. And she's certainly at a spot where she can do. I mean, I don't think the diva is ever getting another Sahara her way, another All the Pretty Horses coming her way. Like,
And if they do, she's like,
no,
karate chop left, karate chop right. She's like not taking them,
Yeah, I think she's just so cool, and I bet you she's so fun to hang out with. And she's, I listened to an interview with her. She was like, listen, it's not hard to move through this life being a normal person. Like all the celebrities who are like, she's like, where are you going?
Right.
She's like,
right.
She's like, I don't go out and drink, she's like, but I go to the gym. I go to a public gym where like people go to the gym, and that's fine. Like she seems like so grounded in reality and the earth. And I'm obsessed with her wanting to collaborate with other people and just not being hot celeb,
Yeah.
But it's wild because she just she radiates such magnetism, and everything like is just inside of her, and that she's able to like broadcast it through like those enormous eyes.
Yeah.
And the way her hair just moves in the wind.
Truly.
God.
And listen, she's not an imposing figure. She is a short queen. She is 5'4". So
Yeah.
like she, but yeah, you're right. It's just all, it's like seeping out of her. She's like a leaking radioactive like
charisma bomb.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't wait to see like where she keeps going, and like, especially as she ages, like there will be more, I think interesting I mean, I'm obsessed with this idea, like she's been playing mothers forever.
Right.
And
she didn't have to age into it like a lot of people do. And like the the Goldie Hawn First Wives Club, where it's like the ingenue, the mother, and the district attorney. Like she doesn't.
Yeah. No. And I'm obsessed with the idea of like, as she gets older, she's done so much good work, like playing, like going through generations of women and stuff like that. It's like Penelope Cruz as grandma, like that idea. And yeah, I think musical, they're really great. That's not 9.
Yeah.
Would love that. Would love that.
Oh my God. The word that the music in 9 is so bad too. Like that's the other thing I focused on this time when I was watching. I was like, it's not just a bad movie. I think the source material, I think the poison is coming from, because I was
be Italian, babe, okay?
Yeah,
you rapscallion.
They just anytime they don't know what to say, they just fill in the blank spot with Guido.
I do like Marion Cotillard's song, My Husband.
Yes.
Makes movies.
Yeah, makes movies. I could leave it.
Well, I think that comes to a natural end for our diva, Penelope Cruz. What a watch! There's some
absolutely
some of these episodes where I'm like, oh my God, we have to watch so much. But like,
yeah, even some of the stuff I was not so hot on, I was still like, you know what? She's giving it all, and she, she's doing the thing, and she's gotten some bad reviews in her career. So like, I'm happy to like not add to that pile because I think she's great. Yeah. But you're right. That is a natural stopping point for her, and she's just got so many more years ahead of her of doing great, cool things. So, but if you want to find out about other great, cool things we're doing, you can always find us on Blue Sky at The Mixed Reviews.
We're on Facebook. Just type in Mixed Reviews.
You can always drop us an email at reviewsmixed@gmail.com.
We're on Instagram at _mix_reviews.
And if you want to listen to our back catalog of episodes, much like you listened to this episode, especially our Almodóvar episode, I know we've said it a bunch of times, but I think it'd be really helpful here. You can find all of that on any major podcast app. We're on Apple, Spotify, Audible, Amazon. And if you do listen to us on any of those podcast platforms, you can always write us a little review, leave us 5 stars, give us that nice rating. It helps us, lets other people find out about us, and we'll be really thankful. And we'll read it on the show like we did at the beginning of this episode.
Want to mention again, we're part of the Glitterjaw family. Check out Gavin's other podcast, The Q Division with Chels, friend of the pod.
And you can also... Oh, sorry. I was going to say, you can also always join us on Patreon. We are on Patreon, patreon.com/themixreviews. We do bonus episodes. We do other things. We have a Discord. People chat. There was a lot of chit-chatting during the... What are the chickens clucking about? About the Oscars.
The Oscars. Yeah. And next episode, we're cooking up some more special guests. Will be a good one. We have Ethan Hawke on deck. So until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Paint your cheeks till you